Hey guys, Joe here, and in today's video we are taking a look at my buddy's customized personal carry Glock 43X. Thanks for checking out the video. If you like this kind of thing, don't forget to get subscribed down below. You can see other videos as they come out, as well as check out the rest of the channel. There are almost 75 firearm videos for you to check out, and almost 800 videos in general. Every time you guys watch something, an angel gets its wings, and I get like 25 cents a month per video. Also, use my Amazon affiliate links. Every time you buy something, a little bit goes to the channel, and that'll help me buy things like this or show things like this in the future. Before we get going, let's go ahead and do a safety check. We will drop the magazine, bring the slide back, lock it open physically, and visually check it. As you can see, it is empty, so we can go ahead and drop the slide on a Glock 43X. For those of you completely in the dark about the X line, or the slim line with the X at the end of the numbers, this is Glock's single stack but higher than normal capacity concealed carry pistol. What I mean by that is typically a 43, which this is based on, would have a 6+1 or a 7+1 depending on the base pad. This has a 10+1 capacity, and with a upgraded magazine, which my buddy's waiting for them to come back in stock, you can actually carry 15 rounds in a magazine that's roughly the same size, because it has to fit inside this single stack magwell, which will be pretty damn awesome. As this is his personal carry piece, he's changed out the sights for some night sights, including the front has a nice orange surround on the tritium. He's put his own grip tape on here, which is not overly aggressive, but it does give a really nice grip on this gun. I'm very impressed with it. And the first thing I've always said about the X line, both the 48, which you can see up here, and this 43X, is the grip angle is completely different on the 43 and 48X in comparison to their standard guns. Slightly more vertical here, slightly more 1911-ish. For comparison, we do have a 1911 here, and as you can see, the grip angle is much more similar between a Glock and a 1911 on the X line than versus the standard line. The X line gives you a full frame to hold onto, as well as that differentiated grip angle really feels good in my hands. I like this night setup, or night sight setup. These are not very expensive sights. I think it's under $100 for the set. It's like 75 bucks, and it's super easy to pick up that front dot between the rear. Granted, I'm trying to do it on camera from 4 feet away at an angle, but still, it's very easy to pick up. Like most Glocks, it has a single action trigger. It's not a true double action trigger in that it doesn't have double strike capabilities and you can't start in double action, but it does have a pre-tensioning striker inside of it, so it takes less trigger effort to engage it. I know somebody's going to put it in the comments, because they do every time I mention the word Glock, and I call them semi-autos with single action triggers. But let's go ahead and take a look at that trigger. Move this out of the way so we can use the background here a little bit. As you can see, this is a standard trigger. He hasn't changed this out. His Glock 19, which you can see from the range video, he had a different slide and a different frame and everything. And he also had a lightened trigger on it. This is the standard blade style trigger. You have to push the entire blade in, you can see here. And when you do that, then you can engage the trigger. It does take a little bit of effort to actually pull the trigger on this gun, but it's not a bad trigger. It just kind of comes back, stops, and then boom. Reset. Pretty nice. Right about there. So at about its same actuation point for its standard engagement. Boom. So very easy to shoot, and in terms of triggers, Glock has actually been making improvement to their triggers, and I'm very impressed to see that, because a lot of very successful manufacturers of not only firearms but electronics and automobiles and things like that can get complacent in what they do, and I'm happy that Glock didn't do that. The fact that they came out with the 10 round for a 43X and the 48 was kind of cool. The fact that it's a nice slim package while still holding 10 rounds. And the fact that somebody with a bigger hand can still get a full grip on it is very nice. The SIG 365, it's a 2-finger gun unless you have an extended base pad on it. Hellcat's the same way. Most of the super small concealed carries are going to be that way. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're trying to show less when you have it in your waistband. But most of us bigger handed guys will have an extended mag on there. So it's going to be the same length regardless. I don't have a standard 43 here with me. Otherwise I would show you the difference. But basically with the extended mag well on the 43, it's the same length as a 43X because the mag fits pretty much flush. It does have a little bit of a base pad on it, but that's just because it's a Glock. It's the way most of their mags look. So this one does not have an accessory rail. The 48 does, but the 43X does not. I'm not sure if they did offer it later. You have to double check. This one was a used piece that my buddy picked up. Don't think it was used too much because you can see how clean it is. I did unload it for the purpose of this video because he was carrying it, obviously, before he let me borrow it. Let's take a look inside the box because it pretty much came as a stock Glock would. And these are the sights that he had on it. These are Mariglos. I'm covering over the information for the store just because I'm not allowed to put it in my videos. So Google it, Liberty Arms in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Normally has 3 mags in there. He took the extra mags out. I don't need them when I'm doing a review, especially when all the magazines are the same. Has the speed loader. I have nothing to say about that. Has its gun lock as well as its manual, and oh look, a bunch of free bullets. Let's go ahead and field strip this bad boy. So we'll do another safety check. Magazine out, lock the slide back, make sure you point it in a safe direction. Check it with your finger, check it with your eyeballs. Cool. I want to see what's inside of this guy. So you pull back the slide just a little bit, take your fingers on both sides, pull down on the 2 tabs while the slide is rearward just slightly, push forward while pulling on the trigger. That's why it is imperative to safety check your Glocks or pretty much any striker fired gun. There are a few exceptions to that rule. There are some striker fired guns that can come apart without pulling the trigger, but even still it takes less than 3 seconds to visually check. Just slide back, look. Even if you don't go as far as I do with actually physically checking, you should still visually check. Okay, enough of the safety rant. Once you have that out, you can go ahead and take out your spring. It is a double spring and it is captive, so that's nice. You don't have to worry about losing it. And once you've done that, you can pull out your barrel. As you can see, it's nice and short. The slide is basically the same as a 43. In fact, a 43 slide will fit on a 43X. So keep that in mind. If you actually own a 43, I would suggest that you buy a 48. That way you can put your 43 slide on your 48 frame, and then you can make your own 43X, and you'll have the option of the slightly longer 48 slide. Just an option for you guys. It actually helped sell a few of these when they first started coming out because we could demonstrate how you could change out the slides. Now, I'm not suggesting everybody do that. Obviously, the serialized part is right there, so it's up to you what you do. You should check with your local laws, but this is the serialized part. This is technically the gun. You can order a barrel on eBay. So as you can see, this is a black 43X, so it is the second iteration of the 43X. That's the other thing I didn't point out. The original 43X has a PVD silver coating. This being a black 43X is the other reason why 43 slide basically looks the same. One thing I do like is front and rear slide serrations. Even if you're not going to use them, they look nice and they're nice to have, and for no extra money to have them is cool. Inside the frame, metal inserts for the fire control group. It's just held in with a couple of pins. You can knock those out if you need to service them or change your trigger or swap your mag release out for a larger one. Same thing with all the other parts. You just knock out the pins, pop out the fire control group, and then you can modify it. Decent sized rails for the slide to ride on. I like nice sized metal rails. Inside you have your trigger mechanism, your ejector, and your cocker for the striker. So pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty Glock, and that is why they are so damn reliable. They just scale up or scale down this basic fire control group for most of their pistols, and it is very successful because just like some vehicles that are made by like Volkswagen Group for Audi, Volkswagen, and Porsche, This is a scalable platform, and that's why you see this same basic design in this, the 17, the 19, the 34, even up to the 10 millimeter stuff or the 357 SIG guns. They all have the same internals. Good on you, Glock. But now that you have it field stripped, you need to put it back together. Super easy. One of the party tricks of a striker fire gun, especially Glocks and the knockoffs like the Taurus, which is basically a Glock knockoff, is they are super simple to reassemble, disassemble, and put back together. A 1911 takes a little bit extra because of the extra parts and the extra steps. Some people, like myself, think that it's just a fun thing to do. It's cathartic to take it apart, but if you want to have a reliable field serviceable weapon system, you need to consider Glock first. I am enough of a man to admit when something is working and reliable. So put your spring back in, make sure that it sits flush and level with the slide, because if it doesn't, it will bind up when you put it back together. So take your frame and your slide, go ahead and line up the rails. Try not to pinch yourself like I did just in the last take of this. Line up the gun with the rails. It's hard to do off camera when I can't see what the hell I'm doing. There you go. And just bring it back and rack the slide. If you do it correctly, the takedown should automatically lock back in position. Your plunger should be in the right position. If you rack it and the plunger's sticking way out, that means it's not lined up right. Take it apart and do it again. Once you've done that, go ahead and you're good to go. So what do I think of the Glock 43X? I really like it. I picked one up when they first were released in my buddy's store, and I held it, and I was like, ooh, that's really nice. I should probably get one, and I never did. I started buying 1911s, I started buying CZs, I started buying weird stuff, and I kind of regret not buying one right away. Once stock comes back in, I may consider picking one up, especially if you guys continue to watch these videos and sub and all that good stuff, because you guys are basically going to be paying for them. So thank you guys for that. If you want to get one, you should definitely go to your local gun store, put your hands on one if they have one, see how it fits, see how it feels. Grab a 43, grab a 43X, compare the two. 8 times out of 10, people would take the 43X over the 43. Now, if you absolutely want that shorter frame, you're going to have to go with the 43. But if you want the higher capacity and the only slightly longer frame when you have an extended mag in it, then this is the way to go for you, possibly. I like to say that because I don't want to influence your decision as much as I want to encourage you to find what works for you on your own. So, Liberty Arms, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Google them. Check them out. Tell them I sent you. If they don't have one in stock, put your name on the list. Glock 43, 48, and the other variants of the Glocks tend to actually come in more often during these trying times. So if there is something available, they'll be the guys to get it for you. That's it for me. I am out of here. Don't forget to leave me a like, a subscription, all that stuff. Share this video. Use my Amazon affiliate links. You'll help the channel grow. And as always, I'll talk to you later. Get your thumb in view. There you go.